Good morning. Welcome back to our English e-class. I hope you are good and safe at your home. Today in this class, we will study modals. Modals, also known as modal verbs, mix with another main verb to point mood or tense. All the auxiliary verbs except be form, do form and have form are called modals. These modals cannot act alone as the main verb in a sentence. They have to be mixed with another main verb. For example, I can teach English. You should study regularly. It might rain today. So, can, should, might. These are modal verbs that are attached with main verb. How we will use these modal verbs? A modal does not change according to the number or person of the subject. It is same for all person and numbers. We can play, they can play, you can play, she can play. See, this can is not changing with number or person. A modal is always used with a verb in its basic form. The modal takes the tense while the main verb remains in its dictionary form. I can speak. You could speak. Modals can be used alone in response to a question. Can you speak? The answer is I can. Will you speak? The answer is I will. Modals when joined with not to form a negative can be contracted. I do not sing. It can be contracted as I don't sing. Main modal verbs are can, could, shall, should, may, might, will, would, ought to and must. So now let us start one by one. Use of can. Can is the most commonly used modal verbs in English. The modal can is used to express ability or opportunity, to request or to offer permission, and to show possibility or impossibility. Example, in case if we have to show ability, we can say, I can dance very well. Where we give permission, there also we use can. He can stay there for a long time. Where we don't have to give permission, there also we use cannot. He cannot stay out after 11 p.m. Use of could. Could modal is used to express possibility or past ability and also to make any suggestions and polite request. Could is commonly used in conditional sentences showing the possibility in past. Could is the past tense of can. Extreme rain could cause a delay in the matches. This is the possibility. You could wait or call again later. This is a suggestion. Where we have to use a polite request, we can use could. Could I use your mobile to call my mother? Another modal verb is may. May modal is usually used to express a possibility. It can also be used to give or request for a permission in formal cases. Cyrus may be at home or perhaps at work. This is a possibility. May I come in? In this we are seeking permission and in formal case. Use of might. Might modal is usually used for expressing a possibility. It is also used in conditional sentences. English speakers can also use might to make some suggestions or request. Your luggage might be in the lobby. This could be a possibility. If you had called me, I might have come. This is a conditional sentence. You might visit the Taj Mahal during your visit to Agra. This is a suggestion. Another modal verbs will and would. Will modal is used with promises and determination that take place in the future. Will can also be used to make predictions about the future. I think it will rain today. This is the prediction. I promise that I will never repeat this mistake in future. This is a promise. We will overcome this situation soon. This is a determination. So where we have to make promise, where we have to predict something, or we have to make determination, there we always use will. Would. Would modal is usually used to create conditional verb forms. It also serves as the past form of modal verb will. Would is also used to indicate past habits for which we also use simple past tense or used to. For example, if he were a dancer, he would earn a lot of money. This is a conditional sentence which shows that he is not a dancer. Another modal verb is shall. Shall is used to indicate a future action. Shall is also used in promises or voluntary actions. It is also used to describe future events that often express inevitability or predestination. For example, suggestion, shall I come along with you? Or in case of promise, I shall never forget the way you helped me. Use of should. Should is usually used to make a recommendation or give an advice. Remember, where we have to give advice, generally we use should. It might also be used to express obligation as well as an expectation. Where we are giving advice, example, you should focus more on your studies than games. Where we are expecting something, by now they should have reached London. Now, use of must. Must is most commonly used to express certainty. It can also be used to express necessity or strong recommendation. For example, this must be the right ingredient for her dish. Student must pass an entrance examination to study at this school. This is the necessity. You must take some extra food along with you. Jennifer, you must not play outside after 7 p.m. So these are the examples which shows certainty, necessity, strong recommendation and prohibition. Use of ought to. Ought to is used to advise or make recommendations. Ought to is also used to express moral obligation. Ought to, without to is also used to advise against doing something. You ought to stop drinking. We ought to respect our elders. This stock ought to increase in value. Max ought not drink so much. So these are the examples where we are using ought to when we are giving some recommendation, showing moral obligation, probability or advising against something. Next modal verb is had better. Had better is usually used to make recommendations. It can also be used to express desperate hope as well as to warn pupil for something. So where we have desperate hope or we have to give warning, we use had better. You had better had your breakfast in the morning. That train had better got here soon. You had better know your limits before talking to me. In all these three examples, we are giving recommendation, we are showing desperate hope or giving warning to someone. So we are using had better. Now let's do quick revision of these modal verbs. Where we have to show ability, give permission and offer something, we use can. Where we have to show possibility, past ability, request, polite request and have to give permission, we can use could. We use may with possibility and permission. Where there is slight possibility and we have to show the past form of may, we use might. Where we give advice and logical deduction, we use should modal. Ought to is used to give advice and logical deductions. Shall is used with I and we and to offer or to give some suggestions. Will is the future tense auxiliary and it also shows invitations or offers. Will you join us for coffee? Regarding permission, pay attention. Where we are seeking permission in informal mode, there we use can. Can I borrow your pen for a minute? Can I speak to John Wilson? In this informal mode, where we have to make polite request, we use could. Could I please have a glass of water? Could I open the window? Now, in formal mode or informal setup, when we take permission or we ask any permission, we use may. May I ask a question, please? May I come in? May we go home now? In case of polite request, we use would. Would you mind if I ask you something? So this was all about modals in this e-class. Thank you.